You there, mentally stunted 30-year-old consumer. Are you aware that cape existed prior to 2015? Did you know that most of it was actually good? Because Hollywood had yet to mass produce them in the toxic waste factory? Did you know that 99% of the time, they didn't rely on the multiverse so that writers could make wacky stuff happen without any solid reasoning? Well, let me tell you all about at least one movie that got a live-action version that is not only a shell of its better animated counterpart, but also a shell of creativity, originality, characters, tone, plot, symbolism, structure, likability. For the Zoomers in the audience, if you want some DC movies that don't absolutely feel like a cash grab in a vain attempt to keep up with Marvel only to ultimately fail in the same fashion, then turn to the animated movies. DC animated is on a level all its own. Because doing animation requires so much time, effort, planning, and logistics, if you're going to do an animated movie, it actually has to be good. And since it was in 2013 and had no intentions of being on anything other than DVD and streaming services, it didn't have to appeal to mass audiences. We had it better back then. Flashpoint Paradox is one such animated movie that does what modern DC and Marvel just can't accomplish, making the multiverse actually interesting. If you haven't seen this movie yet, pause this video and go find a way to watch it. You won't be disappointed. See, as of 2024, not only has the multiverse shown up in at least 4 superhero movies, it has also been used in such a way that makes nothing feel important. Why should I care about Universe A when Universe B is dealing with so much worse? Flashpoint Paradox does the multiverse the right way. And from here on out, spoilers. Flashpoint starts off as a typical Justice League episode. Bad guys led by Flash's arch-enemy Zoom are doing bad guy things. Justice League shows up to save the day. Day is saved. Bad guys get apprehended, and the good guys stand tall. The next day, Barry wakes up to a world very different from the one he knows. While his mom is now alive, his wife, Iris, is married to someone else, seemingly never having met him. Along with this, the Justice League doesn't exist. The city of Atlantis is at war with the Amazons. What's more, Barry no longer has his speed. He is an ordinary human now. He soon discovers even more changes to the world he once knew. It's shown in another scene that Batman still exists, but in a much different form. While battling this timeline's equivalent to Harley Quinn, Batman is shown to be using guns. A strange sight to be certain. Barry, knowing that Bruce Wayne might be able to help him figure out what's going on, heads for Wayne Manor. However, upon arriving, he's attacked by Batman, believing him to be some kind of enemy. It's soon revealed that this timeline's Batman is not actually Bruce Wayne, but instead Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father. It is later revealed that in this universe, it was Bruce who was shot and killed by the mugger, instead of Thomas and Martha. Barry, attempting to convince Batman of his honest intentions, attempts to show his Flash outfit. However, Zoom's yellow suit comes out of the ring instead, leading Barry to believe that Zoom is responsible for the changes in the timeline. Thomas Wayne, now convinced Barry is an ally, helps him to recreate the event that gave him the Speed Force. The initial attempt results in failure, as you might guess, leaving Barry severely burned from the lightning strike they used. Tensions between the Amazonians and Atlanteans only grow worse, leading the world closer to annihilation. Back at Wayne Manor, Barry realizes he's beginning to lose memories of his original universe. This compels him to try the experiment once more, this time it being successful. Upon regaining his speed, he attempts to time travel but is unable to, concluding that Zoom must also be using the Speed Force to block him. Now with his powers back, Barry seeks out to recruit more people to find Zoom and fix this mess. They then seek out Superman, who it is later revealed landed in Metropolis rather than Smallville and is being held in some government facility. Once freed, Superman powers himself with the sun before vaporizing the security force attempting to stop them. Superman flees from the team, afraid and confused by his new and sudden freedom. Barry is still losing his memories and is rendered unconscious by this. He awakens in Shazam's house, who is in the form of the children that make up Shazam or Captain Thunder in this universe. Barry convinces the haphazardly put together team to help end the war. While en route to the battlefield, Batman's jet carrying the heroes is shot down. There, the kids combine into Captain Thunder to fend off Wonder Woman. Meanwhile, Barry, Cyborg, and Batman fight Aquaman. This is when Zoom reveals himself and beats down Barry. He then explains that it was actually Barry himself who changed the timeline, having traveled back in time to save his mom from dying. Both Cyborg and Captain Thunder are killed by Aquaman and Wonder Woman, Aquaman also deteriorating the bomb fueled by Captain Atom. As the explosion begins consuming the landscape, Batman shoots and seemingly kills Zoom. Batman, having been mortally wounded previously, shares his last moments with Barry, telling him to run before giving him a letter. Barry does so, running back into the Speed Force before the blast can consume him. He then finds his earlier self to stop him from changing the past. With the timeline back to normal, Barry meets up with Batman to explain what had happened, and to also deliver the message from his dad. So, why is this better than the multiverse garbage we've gotten from live-action Marvel and DC? Simply put, tone. You see, unlike Multiverse of Madness or the live-action Flashpoint, animated Flashpoint does something that modern superhero movies have cut away to allow for a faster produced product: character drama. So far, in other multiverse media, alternate timelines are played out more for gags than for actual plot. We see a quirky and weird alternate timeline that, rather than exploring in any depth and letting us get to know the characters there, instead is usually a one-note alternate timeline dominated by the idea that this is all super weird. Flashpoint Paradox did alternate timelines the right way. While yes, Barry is our anchor point for the original timeline, it's this connection to a different and better universe that makes the emotional impact of the changes so much greater. Barry's mom is alive, but he is no longer married, nor does he have his powers. Bruce's parents were spared, but he was killed instead. Superman was discovered by the cold and cruel government rather than the kind and caring John and Martha Kent. Aquaman and Wonder Woman, rather than defending Earth, are now threatening it. These alternate and tragic changes aren't played off as a gag while Flash hops through dimensions. They are events that had profound and lasting effects. We are able to get a feel for these changes, the characters they affected, and how the world has evolved around these changes. The changes of the Flashpoint timeline are given legitimate emotional weight, the serious tone that they deserve. Because this movie allows these changes to have emotional impact, we're given a character moment that defines all of DC, something that the MCU and DC's pathetic attempts at a live-action cinematic universe have forgone, in favor of factory-produced, lowest common denominator, flashy entertainment. Barry, after fixing the timeline, delivers a letter to Bruce. The letter is from Thomas Wayne. Bruce, a man angry at the world, at the past, is allowed a small moment of emotional reprieve. There's no explosions, blue sky beams, bursts of power, one-liners to make the villain look like a bumbling buffoon. Just a small moment that impacts only one character. This is why Flashpoint Paradox is one of my all-time favorite DC movies. What about you? Have you seen this masterpiece? What did you think? Feel free to leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, thanks for watching.